آبانگانی دیگر از نیویورک سیتی با شما هستیم.
عید نوروز نزدیک بود که این هم پوشاک نو برای همسر عزیز و فرزندان دلبندم. حال میتوانم با خیالی آسوده و وجدانی راحت سر بر بالین گذارم. آخ اش پیرهن قرمز مخواه. پدر مرحومم، شما که همیشه در خوابم می آمدی، چه شده که این بار پیش از خوابم آمدی؟ من پدرت نمی باشم، پس چه می باشی؟ اینهاش وجدان ناراحت و در عذابت می باشم. چه می گویی؟ وجدان من که راحت است. این را دیگر من تشخیص می دهم. باشد، حال بهر چه ناراحتی ای وجدان؟ زیرا که تو تنها در مقابل خانواده‌ات مسئول نمی باشی، بلکه در قبال دوست، آشنا، همساده و هموطنان نیز مسئولیت داری و در آستانه سال نو باید به فکر نیازمندان نیز باشی.
کاش وجدان هممون اینجوری کار کنه در آستانه سال نو فکر نیازمندا باشیم.
میگم وجدان جان، قدمت روی چشم اینجا خانه خودت است، ولی وقت دیرت نگردد. نه تا وقتی مسئولیت اجتماعی خیش را به جا می‌آوری دیرم نمی‌شود.
در برنامه پیشین آبانگان بخش نخست گفتگو با سیگل، نویسنده کتاب Let There Be Water که درباره حکمرانی آب در اسرائیل هست رو با هم دیدیم و شنیدیم. سیگل حقوقدانی هست که سالها به عنوان کارآفرین در نیویورک کار کرده، اما به عنوان یک شهروند درگیر علاقه‌مند شد به موضوع آب و اومد سالها روی موضوع مدیریت منابع آب در اسرائیل تحقیق کرد و با بیش از 200 نفر گفتگو کرد. هنوز رژیم اشغالگر قدس هست و خیلی ها در ایران هنوز نمیدونن که اسرائیل از سوی اکثر کشورهای جهان به رسمیت شناخته میشه. اسرائیل یکی از کشورهای پیشرو در حوزه مدیریت منابع آب هست و با وجود اینکه در برخی از مناطق بیابانیش میزان بارندگی بسیار کمتر از مناطق بیابانی ایران هست، اما همون مناطق رو به نقاطی برای تولید میوه و سبزیجات تبدیل کرده و الان جزو صادرکنندگان کالاهای سبز محسوب میشه. اسرائیلی ها توانستند با میزان آبی که کنترل کردن و تولید کردن این کالاها رو و به قیمت بالاتر فروختن به کشورهای مختلف جهان، غله و کالاهای دیگری که آب زیادی میبره رو وارد کنن با قیمتی ارزان‌تر. اسرائیل از منابع آبی مختلفی استفاده میکنه، از آبهای سطحی، از آبهای زیرزمینی و از فاضلاب خانگی رو اسرائیل کنترل کامل میکنه و 2 مرتبه به حدی میرسونه که حتی امکان شرب هم میتونه داشته باشه. اما خب خیلی‌ها نمیخوان فاضلاب بازیافت شده بخورن و اون آب صرف کشاورزی میشه. مدیران ارشد منابع آب در اسرائیل در طول سالهای بعد از 1948 توانستند با وضع قوانینی و با ایجاد فرهنگی ویژه شهروندان کشور خودشون رو قانع کنند که با مدیریت دقیق منابع آب میشه کشور رو به سوی وضعیتی بهتر پیش برد. چیزی که ما در ایران شاهدش نیستیم. فاضلابی که در ایران باهاش سبزی کاری میکنند پاک نیست.
خب این آبی که شما دارید ملاحظه میکنید فاضلاب شهریه. این جلوتر ببینید که آب فاضلاب شهری دقیقاً داره تو این مزارع منتقل میشه و استفاده میشه. ببینید این آب فاضلاب شهریه همه سبزی کاری هستش، بامیه کاری هست، گوجه کاری هست، ذرت کاری هست که به وسیله همین آب فاضلاب شهری استفاده میشه. این زباله‌ای هم که این اگه دوربینشون بده، زباله‌ای هست که به وسیله همین آب فاضلاب شهری به اینجا منتقل شده. متاسفانه هیچ نظارتی وجود نداره و این سبزی ها میاد داخل شهر و من و شما استفاده میکنه.
بایستی توجه بکنیم که مدیریت منابع آب فقط مربوط به سدسازی و یا حفر چاه نمیشه. مدیریت فاضلاب از ابتدا تا انتهایی که فاضلاب به وجود میاد تا زمانی که برای کشاورزی استفاده میشه چیزی است که اسرائیلی‌ها درش تخصص زیادی پیدا کردن. همچنین اسرائیلی‌ها توانستند با شیرین کردن آب دریا به روش‌های مختلف و ارزان قیمت بخشی از مشکلات خودشون رو حل کنند. در برنامه قبلی آبانگان بخش نخست گفتگو با سیگل نویسنده کتاب Let There Be Water که کتابی درباره حکمرانی آب در اسرائیل و تاریخچه اون هست رو با هم دیدید.
Quite by chance I attended a session where a senior US government official was speaking about this coming global water crisis. I didn't know anything about it. It was new news to me. He shared all kinds of quite alarming information. And finishing the meeting, I went back to my office and I said to myself, I'm a concerned, involved citizen. I need to learn more. The idea that I was going to write a book was the farthest thing from my mind. And what I did, in fact, was just said, I just want to be smart about this. I want to be able to talk intelligently about this. I want to know more. I started learning more, and what I discovered was this great imbalance, this great gap between the crisis that was at hand and the number of people who actually were aware of the fact of what was coming. And so I decided that what I needed to do was to start educating others. I wrote some articles for major newspapers. I told people about it. I made a couple of speeches. And then it became clear to me that the only way I could reach a mass audience was by writing a book. So I wrote the book. I never assumed it would be the success that it was, but here we are.
آقای سیگل، وقتی که انگلیسی‌ها کلونی یا به عبارتی مستعمره خودشون رو ترک می‌کردن، آیا انتظار داشتن که ساکنان جدید و مدیران جدید بتونن وضعیت آب اون منطقه رو مدیریت کنند؟
Well, I don't have to think about this because I know. Because for the research for the book, I went through the British Imperial Archives. And there's lots of correspondence about your very question. So I know the answer to your question. I know exactly what they were thinking. They believe that the region, and I'm including in that all of Israel today, all of Gaza, and all of the West Bank, they believe that that entire, what they call the envelope, geographic envelope, could hold no more than 1.5 million to 2 million people. They believe that if it went any higher than that, it would be strangled because of a lack of water resources, that they'd be able to grow no food, that there wouldn't be enough room for the people, and that it would lead to a humanitarian disaster. And by the way, they weren't sure that that wasn't going to happen even with fewer than that number of people. How many people live in that same, to use the British phrase, geographic envelope today? 12 million people. And Israel is planning for a future which has 30 million people in that same geographic envelope. So the fact of the matter is that the British did not expect the region to do well, did not expect the region to thrive. They looked at the large landmass of the Negev desert, which is everything from the bottom 2/3 of Israel. Israel's a long, skinny country, so the bottom 2/3 of the country. And they thought it was a wasteland. They thought it had no value. And as I show in my book, Israel figured out a way to take desert land and then to take brackish, useless water found underneath those desert sands, highly minerally, highly salty water. They invent specialized seeds that thrive on salty, minerally, brackish water. And Israel develops an agriculture industry that does two things. Not only does it, well, three things. Not only does it provide food for the people of the country, not only does it provide an export industry for the country, but it provides an extraordinary environmental plus. Do you know that Israel is the only country in the world that in the 20th century ended the century with less desert land than it started it? Deserts are growing everywhere. Environmentalists call the phenomenon desertification. And this is creating poverty and problems and environmental catastrophes. Israel has figured out a way to hold the desert back and to expand the green belt. If you have ever flown in a helicopter over Israel, as I have, on the Israeli or Jordanian side, which I did once, It's extraordinary. You look down and you see kind of a lunar moonscape view on half of the border, which is on the Jordanian side. On the Israeli side, where they've developed this desert agriculture, you see green belt after green belt punctuated by these moonscapes. And that's something that's really quite extraordinary and quite exciting.
اسرائیلی ها برای مدیریت آبخوان‌ها چه برنامه‌ای داشتند؟
Well, they're governed by treaty agreement. In 1993 and 94, and to some extent in 1995, Israel and the Palestinians and Israel and the Kingdom of Jordan entered into a series of agreements. The Palestinian-Israeli agreements are called the Oslo II agreements. And in that agreement, they set forth exactly how water will be managed. And that Israel, as the more technologically advanced of the two countries, would take primary responsibility for managing and extraction of water, but the Palestinians would be guaranteed a minimum amount of water regardless of weather conditions. So when there are drought years, Israeli farmers get less water, Palestinians still get the same amount of water, in fact more than it's called for under the treaty. They get the water that they have been promised by Israel, and so that works in that way. With the Kingdom of Jordan, likewise, in the peace agreement between Jordan and Israel, which was either 94 or 95, I forget which it was, but it was that time frame, they entered into an agreement also about water sharing. Jordan has no natural reservoir to hold water or winter rains. Israel agreed to make use of the Sea of Galilee, called in Hebrew the Kinneret, to allow them to store water in the Sea of Galilee, and as they want to store it, they put it in. When they want to take it out, they remove it. It's all measured, and it leads to, I argue, it leads to very, very positive interactions between the parties. In addition to the aquifers or the alluvial areas, is the idea of maintaining this for the long-term health of everybody. And this has led to some conflict as well. Sometimes Palestinian farmers choose to just drill a well, and Israeli forces or Israeli government will come in and cap the well because they're concerned about contamination of the water below it. And that has sometimes led to confrontation. Palestinians say, well, why are you keeping my farmers from drilling a well? And they're doing that because there's a precise agreement between the parties as to what's permitted and what's not permitted. In Gaza, where Israel does not have any involvement in their water management other than to pump water in, there are some 12,500 wells that have been drilled. But here's the bad news. Only about 2,000 to 3,000 of them are legal wells. All the rest are illegally drilled. And guess what has happened to the quality of the aquifer? Badly polluted, badly salinized, and badly made more salty. And this is what can happen. There's no guarantee that if you abuse nature, that at some point nature won't push back. So Israel shares the aquifers. Some of the aquifers are exclusively in the hands of the Palestinians. They can do whatever they want with it. And the shared aquifers, Israel takes primary management responsibility for.
آیا اسرائیل مثلا میاد و آبخوان‌های خودش رو تغذیه مصنوعی میکنه برای اینکه آب رو برای نسل‌های آینده درون آبخوان‌ها نگهداری کنه؟
In some places, yes, but they have a variety of storage means that they use. So, for example, and I'll go through some of them. They're preferred, if they're in the northern part of the country, their preferred storage facility is, of course, the Sea of Galilee. If they are in the south and central part of the country, they have a large number of reservoirs, above-ground reservoirs, that have been built out by partnerships between the Israeli government and other not-for-profit environmental organizations that allows them to store water. That water is almost only the treated sewage. And then in the Negev desert, when they have the winter rains that come with great force, they only last for a short period of time. They have a recharge methodology whereby they take that stormwater and pump it into aquifers for the purpose of storing it and being able to recharge it and to then extract it at a time when it's needed. So the answer is, to your question is, what Israel utilizes is what is sometimes called an all-of-the-above strategy. It's a multifaceted, multidimensional water management system that allows them to do some things that are on the surface, some things that are below the surface in groundwater, and some things that holds the water in abeyance, like with desalinated water that comes in as needed from the ocean.
طبیعتاً در روزگاری هستیم که خیلی ها جرئت نمی‌کنن درباره گرم شدن زمین و تغییر اقلیم حرف بزنن، چون ممکنه اتهام‌های زیادی بهشون وارد بشه از سوی کسانی که نگاهی محافظه کارانه دارن. اما به هر شکل داریم واقعیت‌ها رو می‌بینیم. اسرائیل در این قبال چه برنامه و سیاستی رو اتخاذ کرده؟
So, first of all, I understand exactly what you're talking about, the controversy about the whole climate change issue. When my book came out a while ago, but I've been invited by many groups to speak to them, both in the U.S. and around the world. I've spoken to now truly there's a real number, hundreds of audiences. I've been on 4 continents. I've been in more than 60 U.S. cities, and in some communities, climate change is taken as a given. In some other communities, climate change is seen as some dastardly government plot. And I say to everybody the same thing. I don't need to say to you that climate change is real or not real, it's man-made or not man-made. You can believe whatever you want to believe, because I don't want you to start putting your fingers in your ears and singing a song so you can't hear the rest of my message. Whatever you want to believe, continue to believe. It doesn't matter. Because what we know for fact is that water resources are growing more scarce. We know that evaporation levels are growing more active. And therefore we know that if you care about our future for tomorrow and the year after tomorrow and 5 years from now, we must aggressively manage our water. Now, in dry areas like the southwestern United States or like the Middle East or parts of Africa or parts of Australia or parts of South America, where there's a very dry area anyway, you have to be doing this even more aggressively. And the message of my book is the fact that Israel, in a very dry region, has figured out a way to have advanced water governance, have an abundance of water so that they have agriculture, so that they have the ability to share their water with the Palestinians and Jordanians, so that everybody in Israel, everybody, turns on the faucet, turns on the shower, and they can have all the water they want, provided they pay for it, and nobody goes without water. And that came about not by accident. It came about because of a plan. And my argument is what Israel did in the driest region in the world, a small country that today is affluent but was very poor when it started, when the British left in 1948, that this is something that everyone everywhere could be doing. If not everything Israel has done, people could be doing parts of what Israel has done. So aquifer management is part of it, and evaporation management is part of it. Now, one of the things that Israelis are talking about doing, I'm not sure they will because of the expense, they're talking about putting a cover on their reservoirs, so that way it will slow the evaporation rate, in fact bring it down to 0 in some cases. And I think that ultimately that's what they may choose to do.
خب برخی جاها ما شاهد این هستیم که وقتی با آبیاری قطره‌ای میزان مصرف آب برای تولید کاهش پیدا میکنه، کشاورزان ممکنه به این ایده برسن که حالا که آب بیشتری در زیر زمین دارن، برای ثروتمند شدن میتونن در نقاط دیگه باز آبیاری کنن و به این ترتیب عملاً آبی حفظ نمیشه، چرا که کشاورزان برای درآمد بیشتر اومدن اون آبی که صرفه جویی شده در جای اول دارن جای دیگه مصرفش میکنن. برای مقابله با این پدیده چه باید کرد؟
Israeli system is actually a very smart system because they try to make centralized use of the groundwater. They try to, I'm sorry, not centralized use, centralized control of the groundwater, I should say. And so because the water is seen as a common good, people are not permitted, farmers are not permitted to waste the water just because they have the available water. So that's the first thing. Second of all is, by the way, you're asking a question that's as old as man and humanity itself. How do you stop people from destroying the future for greedy opportunities of the moment? And so I think that goes to education. That goes to educating farmers about sustainability and tells them, hey, we'll help you grow more with less water. You might even want to grow more right now, but understand the consequences. That in a few years, you or your children will just not have the water you need to grow the food and the crops that you need. So that if you are prepared to waste your water now, you can, but there's going to be a consequence. You know, for those of us who are careful about the way we live and eat and we're good model citizens or something like that, then you're going to have a better outcome than somebody who goes out every night drinking and using drugs and being reckless and not getting sleep and and never exercising. You have consequences as a society, as a family, as individuals, by your good behaviors and your bad behaviors. I think this is a job for government. And if I may say, and I don't know Iran well, I've never had a chance to visit there, unfortunately, because of the circumstances in '79. And I would love to visit Iran. But I think the government has done a very bad job of educating its farmers. The problem is that the farmers are allowed to be as wasteful as they wish with their water in Iran. And part of the reason for that, I understand from having interviewed people who would prefer for me not to use their names, for understandable reasons, because of relatives back in Iran, is that the government wants to sort of sense, buy peace with these farmers, and to tell them, no, you can't, would make the farmers angry and resentful. So there are farmers who drill wells that are not sanctioned. There are farmers, because energy is so incredibly inexpensive in Iran, there are farmers who just keep the pump going all the time. And the water gets pumped out, and it's wasted, and the energy is wasted, but the water is fundamentally free, the energy is close to free, so farmers are very reckless with their water. And this is part of culture, this is part of education, this is part of smart governance. I say in my book that water problems are a proxy, or a substitute, for bad governance. And I think that the countries that have bad water systems today, generally speaking, suggest that they had bad governance yesterday. And so therefore, nature is fairly forgiving in the short term. You can be very abusive to nature and get away with it for the short term. But the long term, the more you are in the process of abusing nature, of overusing a resource, sooner or later, you pay a price. And I fear very much that there's going to be a very large price paid by countries of the world that have been reckless or that have tried to buy off their farmers with cheap or free water. Some of people have said, and I know that I recently read an excellent article by a fabulous writer born in Iran, who said that there's a possibility that as many as 50 million Iranians will be relocated from where they live because there's going to become a shortage of water. That is totally unnecessary. With smart governance, with smart planning, with long-range planning, with the use of technology, with proper pricing, none of that is necessary. And how do we know that? That it's not just theory what I'm saying, but reality? How do we know that? Because Israel, in the same region, with the same climate, with the same rapid population growth, in fact faster even than Iran, has managed to go from being water scarce to being water abundant. So why wouldn't everybody want to do what they have done? You know what? I'll even go farther. Let me go further here. Let's assume that politics, you can't get politics out of your head. Let's assume you just hate Jews, or you just hate Israelis, or you just hate Zionists, and you just can't bear to do anything with them, and you don't want to recognize them. Okay, I get it. Why would you sabotage your own people's future? Take from the Zionists, take from the Israelis, take from the Jews what's good and smart, and then ignore the rest. But don't say, oh my God, this drip irrigation comes from Israel, therefore we want nothing to do with it.
It's not halal.
That's not halal, I guess, yes. But why would you say that? Why would you do that? Why would you sabotage your own people? Take what's good, take what's smart, take what's useful, and then ignore the rest. I would argue that good relations and good politics is good for everybody anyway, and would lead to peace in the region more quickly, but push that aside. Assume you want to be antagonistic and keep the battle going. Still, fix your water future, and since the Israelis are so good at it, learn from them.
یکی از دلایلی که خیلی دلم می‌خواست این گفتگو انجام بشه این بود که بسیاری از کارشناسان حوزه آب در ایران خب مسلمانان معتقد شیعی هستند که نمیخوان درباره اسرائیل اصلا چیزی بشنون، اما خیلی از همونها دوست دارن چیزی یاد بگیرند. یک تضاد درونی برای خیلی از اینها وجود داره. شما به عنوان کسی که درباره حکمرانی آب و مدیریت منابع آب در اسرائیل تحقیق کرده، چه پیامی برای این افراد دارید؟ چه چیز جدیدی برای این افراد دارید که لااقل بتونن یاد بگیرن که از اون راهکارها برای ایران استفاده کنن؟
Let me say this to you right now. Nick, I want to tell you how I feel. I wrote this book for a lot of reasons. I wrote this book not just about water. I wrote this to give an example of great leadership, of courage and vision of governance. But I want to tell you something. The book is now out in many dozens of countries around the world. It's out or soon will be out in 15 different languages other than English. But the language that's missing from the list of countries and the language that's missing from the list of languages that I'm desperate to have is Farsi. And let me make an offer right now to your viewers in Iran, your viewers in the United States, your viewers elsewhere around the world. I will give, at no cost whatsoever, to anybody who comes to me the opportunity to translate the book into Farsi. No royalty payments whatsoever. We have to sign a contract to make sure I still own the copyright. But beyond that, no economic terms whatsoever. For free. If we can print copies, great. If that's a problem or a danger for people to have that in their homes, put it online and let anybody who wants to hear or read the achievements of Israel in water, Israel in hydrology, Israel in smart water governance, be my guest and learn. This is be my gift. I identify myself as a friend of Israel. I have no antagonism towards the Iranian people whatsoever. I believe that they have been mostly made victims of their own bad government, and that what we're going to see very soon, I mean not like in 100 years, in a few years, we're going to see a major water crisis because of bad management, bad infrastructure projects, and all kinds of corrupt deals that are hurting the Iranian people and their water future. Read my book in Farsi and English and any of the other language that it's out, and come to understand how a smart, good water administration can be handled.
سپاسگزارم. بخش سوم و پایانی این گفتگو رو در برنامه بعدی آبانگان با هم خواهیم دید.
دیرین. چندیست بچه هم کارهایی می نماید که مرا نگران کرده است ای وی.
چگونه کارهایی؟
مثلا در مسیرهایی که رفت آمد در آن جریان دارد اختلال ایجاد می نماید.
بگذار رد شویم. دلم میخواد نگذارم.
چراغ‌ها را بی موقع خاموش می نماید. در مسیر ما چاله و جوندال ایجاد می نماید. وقتی به من به دوستانش بذل بخشش می نماید.
نگران مباش که او آیندی روشن دارد.
چگونه؟
این گانه که شهرداری میشناسم دقیقا همینجوری است. با ایجاد پله‌های به در نخور به جای روان شدن ترافیک راهبندان ایجاد می‌کند. شبا هنگام چراغ‌های پارک‌ها را خاموش می‌کند. خیابان‌هایش هی فرو ریخته گودال ایجاد می‌گردد. و بودجه بیت المال به دوستانش زمین و ملک می‌بخشد.
اگه دیدیم بچه‌هاتون از این شیطنت‌ها میکنن نگران نباشین، فردا روز شهردار مردار میشن.
قربون پسرم برم میخواد شهردار شه. بابا جان